Okay. All right, guys. Happy Labor Day, and appreciate you being here on a holiday, for sure. And looking forward to moving ahead. This week's game against UC Davis. Kind of started previewing them this morning. Began game planning. Finished up all of the Colorado State information yesterday. Practiced last night. Met with the team. Gave out some game balls. I think we gave a game ball to Jonah Coleman, who I want to congratulate. I saw a Big Ten Player of the Week, co-Big Ten Player of the Week. So that's pretty awesome in week one. Gave a game ball to DeMond for winning his first ever game as a starter, which is pretty cool. Game ball to Michaela Steen for the big interception at a 31-21 or a critical point in the game, 28-21, and we were able to go up 10. Gave a game ball to Adam Muhammad, first ever college touchdown, had 87 yards in kickoff returns, had 25 yards rushing, I believe, off of 4 or 5 carries. Did a great job for us in short yardage, and then a big-time screen where he had about another 40 yards or so in a screen pass. Gave a game ball to Jacob Lane. Jacob Lane's first start here at University of Washington as a Washington guy, and had 2 tackles for losses, 6 total tackles. Had a couple of huge plays in the game, couple quarterback pressures as well, and gave a game ball to Cade Eldridge, who's also a State of Washington guy that transferred back here and had his first ever touchdown in his first ever game here in the State of Washington at home in front of his family. And then finally gave a game ball to the offensive line. And the starting offensive line, 283 yards rushing, did a fantastic job in pass protection with a ton of pressures coming at us, and really had a physical mentality. And then the final game ball we gave out was to President Jones, the first win in his tenure as the new university president, and it was exciting to give him a game ball as well now that he is 1-0 here on Montlake. So I'm glad that the game went the way we hoped, and we had a good second half, outscoring the opponent 24-7. Had a few self-inflicted wounds or mistakes that we talked about earlier, but we'll kind of wrap that game up and then begin all preparation for UC Davis.
Are you expecting Amari to be able to participate against UC Davis?
I am. He participated last evening at a limited level, but I do believe that if all goes according to plan rehab-wise, it's a soft tissue deal, so you got to just those things for wide receivers, they come and go, and you have to make sure that he's ready to go so we don't set him back another 3 or 4 weeks.
What was the challenge this offseason to Drew as a party? I think even through spring and camp, it just didn't seem like anyone ever really challenged him for that starting job, and it seemed like he had a good start to the year.
Yeah, what challenge? We gave him the challenge of becoming more flexible. We made him do yoga every week. We made a challenge to him to make his body redefined, a little bit less body fat, a little more strength. We worked really hard on his technique, and we felt as if that his return after being a first year as a full-time starter, that he was going to be able to make a big jump, and I believe he has.
What was the evaluation of his game for your guys' staff?
In the past or moving forward? Or how do we think he played this past week? I thought he had a very good game. He graded out exceptionally high as a group, in the group. I believe he was either graded out the highest or second highest in the whole offensive line. He finished blocks. He was taking guys and walking them back, which is always good to see. He plays with a nastiness, which is good when it comes to offensive line play. He did a good job in communication and pass protection. He and Quentin Moore were a pretty tough, duo when you start dealing with combination blocks, when the two of them work together. And I felt that he improved in his pass protection as well.
How do you feel like Landon played outside of the miscommunication on that snap with him on?
Good. I thought Landon had a really good game. We had about think it was about 14 checks in that game, and Landon managed all of them with Demond, so he was able to get us from one play to another play without issue. He was a really good communicator. Let me know between every series what was happening up front. You know, you can't really see or hear or see what's happening within the internal 3 or 4 guys on the defensive line. He was able to communicate that to us at a high level, which I appreciated, and he was right in what he said. Sometimes the key is not just saying it, but also being accurate. And I felt like he certainly took the challenge of running off the ball.
What about Carver? How do you think he performed at left?
Good. Carver performed, really well. I thought the whole offensive line performed well. You know, that's why we gave the whole group a game ball. I felt like John Mills performed extremely well. Carver performed well. There's a ton of improvement that's going to happen between week 1 and week 2 and week 3. This is an interesting setup here where we went from Mountain West opponent that's coming off 8 wins to an FCS opponent that's coming off of 11 wins to a bye week, and then for the Apple Cup. You know, these 4 weeks are all critical for us to continue to find improvement and never stop working to get better and better and better. So the offensive line set a good foundation all the way across the board, and now it's going to be a matter of how good can we become this week. Can we continue to be physical and be an aggressive offensive line?
How did you feel about the defensive line? Just looking at their numbers, out of the 4 guys that started, they were like 0 tackles, and 1 tackle. Were they as involved as they should have been, or the scheme?
Yeah, I think we had a little bit different numbers-wise, but I think it was pretty. They were allowed for a lot of the tackles to be made by the linebackers. We only gave up 1.6 yards per run in the second half. So, we felt pretty good about how that looked. They hit a couple of big runs on us, 2 big runs in the first half. But, you look at the run they made or the run they had at the end of the half where, that's hats off to them. I said that to Jay after the game. Hats off to handing the ball off with 12 seconds left and no timeouts. Their quarterback got a check, and we were overloading another side, and that was quite a play. And then they hit that quarterback counter play where the quarterback got the edge. So there were some plays there that we'd love to get off and make a tackle, but our edges made some tackles. Durfee made tackles. Jacob Lane made tackles. The interior guys are getting a lot of double teams, and their job is to hold the point. Their job is to shed a block when they can. But truthfully, it's just to push the pocket backwards and then let the ball spill out to our edge guys and our linebackers and come in and make a tackle.
Was there any key adjustment in that second half for your run defense?
Everybody just settled down a little bit. There were some new exotic looks. Number 12 brought a new perspective to what we had to deal with. We knew that he was a runner. We knew that, but the quarterback counter, quarterback power plays, those were new this year. The unbalanced plays that they got involved with, some of the fake jet sweep and then come back around was some new stuff for them that we had to adjust to, and made the adjustment, at halftime. Got a couple things settled down. It's also the first game, so there's going to be, communication first time. You have Buddha, you have Devin, first time they played linebacker together. You had Mikkel and Alex, first time they played safety together. So those things are going to happen as well that, we'll just continue to work to get less of.
The freshmen who played, can we kind of assume that the freshmen who played are probably not going to redshirt this year?
Yeah, I don't imagine at all any of the freshmen who played would be a redshirt.
How would you assess Alex McLaughlin's game?
Good. Alex had a good game. He made a nice pass breakup, 2 pass breakups, I think. He had a great tackle for loss, a 9-yard loss on a reverse. He was very active. He can run and hit. He likes to, throw his body around in there, which is great. Don't like a personal foul, 15-yard penalty for a face mask. Luckily, it was only inside the 7 or so I think we only lost 3.5 yards on the deal. But if that was on the 20, then or 25, next they're on the 10. So we got to get our hands down off the face. Certainly not intentional by any means. I felt like, for the most part, though, for a first game showing up in a Big Ten uniform, he handled it and responded really well.
What do you think of the team's tackling? I think you guys only had like 3 missed tackles.
Yeah, we had 3 missed tackles, which is a good day. That's a good day's work. We'd love to have 0. We had that one open field tackle that we probably always we could have back. That would have at the end of the half, which would have prevented 7 points. Just like us not turning the ball over at the end of the half would have prevented them to get the ball back. But we had 3 missed tackles, and we'll continue to work on our tackling. That's an important part of the game. It's one of the biggest fundamentals, blocking and tackling. So if we could, run for whatever we ran for and, not have many missed tackles, we'll be in a good spot.
Coach, that touchdown that has been kind of gone over, is that something that you guys would send to the Big Ten to have reviewed?
Yeah, we send it in, but I mean, it's clear cut, right? What happened? It was just it was a miss, but it was very clear. And it's been talked about, and I'm sure, that'll be the response.
You mentioned after the game a handful of plays where the defense got beat. Curious, after watching the film, what areas do you want to see some improvement from the secondary this week?
I want to see as few big plays as we can give up. We were excellent on third down. We were 3 for 13. They were 3 for 13 on third down. And I would say that one of the issues was they were 3 for 5 on fourth down. So we gave up a 4th and 12. We gave up a 4th and 10 on their own 39-yard line on 4th and 10. They went for it in a 10-point game and converted a dagger throw. And if we stop them there, right now we're on the plus, 1st and 10 on the plus 39 going in up 10. So we'd like to get off the field in a couple of those situations. The 4th and longs would be one of them. And then the end of the half, there was a couple plays in there that we certainly don't want to have happen. And then they had 19 running down the seam one time with a formation they set into the boundary that gave us, for that moment in time, gave us an issue, but which we quickly solved and practiced last night a few times.
Were you encouraged that you kind of wore them down? Where last year it might have been the other way around, like, with somebody beating you in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think it's good that we have, we had 94 guys in our strength and conditioning program since January, and we only have 103 players or 102 players on our roster. So that means that almost everybody that's on our team has been in our program with T.O., has been in our nutrition program with Tanner, has been in our training room with Tom, and those things all matter. And, we're up 1,065 pounds from last year to this year on our team. And that's with 7 less players. So, it puts us in a good spot. We're down 335 pounds of body fat, and we're up 650 pounds of muscle mass. So all of those things are going to lead to us being able to get to a spot where we hopefully will be able to do that and run the football in the fourth quarter. The other part of it is you have to have a lead to run the ball in the fourth quarter. So those things also matter, that we were able to, rush the ball 50 times is that's a dream to call a game and be able to have 24 pass attempts and 50 runs. I'm sure there was probably 40 called runs and 35 called passes. And then Damon took off and ran and scrambled on 7 of them, and we had 3 sacks. So, but that's always good when you can call more runs and passes, and that's based upon, I would say, the way they've performed in the weight room, the way they performed in the training room, and the way they've eaten. Great.
Would you prefer Damon to throw away the ball on some of those sacks that he took? Or are you okay with kind of?
Yeah, I don't think on the 3 sacks he took, I think he had 3 sacks. I don't know where he would have thrown the ball to. We had a miscommunication on one play, which would have been not a problem. There certainly wouldn't have been a sack on that play. But there was nowhere once there was a miscommunication, you're stuck, right? The routes weren't run, so he couldn't do anything, really. It's unfortunate when that happens, but that did happen. The other 2, one happened pretty fast, that there wasn't really an ability to even get out of the pocket. And then the third one, he was trying to, see if he can get somebody open down the field and got sacked. I'm not sure that any of those 3 will get thrown away. He did. I thought one play he was going to throw away, and then he wound up getting it to Adam for like a 6-yard gain. I felt like when he was scrambling to his left, that would have happened. Otherwise, it's really hard to tell a quarterback like him when to throw it away and when not to. Like, that's his instincts. He's going to have to make that decision. And there's a reason why certain quarterbacks that have the skills he had do get sacked a little bit more than other quarterbacks that don't have those skills, because they can also get you 68 yards rushing, where those other quarterbacks end the game with -11 rushing or -4 rushing or, more. And that's the give and take you got to have.
We saw a whole lot of Rashawn Clark after Leroy Brown was listed as a starter. So that's something where he's going to continue pushing for that every week. And
Yeah.
how would you assess his game on top of
Yeah,
that?
I think in this game, I believe it was like 42 reps were Rashawn and 20-something were Leroy. Now, some of that had to do with they had 10 series in the game and 6 of them were 3 and outs. And of those 6, I think Leroy was in 5 of those 6 or 4 of them. So it just happened to be by circumstances. Rashawn was in on some of those longer drives. And when you rotate guys by series, it sometimes happens that way. Maybe that, hopefully we have more 3 and outs and they have, equal less plays. But if it comes into the point where they're continuing to get reps, then we'll figure out exactly, do we do it by series or do we do it by play count? And then the other part is, each week they're going to compete. And Leroy started the game. I think he played the first 2 series in the game, but series 1 only went 3 plays. And but Leroy and Rashawn keeps getting better. And Rashawn's going after that ball, and Leroy's going to go after the ball, and those guys should take the ball away here too.
We talked with Jimmy last week about fullbacks, and I don't know how much experience you guys have had with a fullback, but he said a lot of it is having the right person. What makes Cade the right guy to throw into that fullback spot?
Well, I coached at Michigan with Jim Harbaugh, so I had experience with a fullback. I can tell you that. But, Cade gives you the body type of a fullback. He gives you the ability to have, I think he's like 230-something pounds. He can bend, so he gives you the flexibility to be both a tight end off the ball. He's also strong enough to be a tight end on the ball, and he's also capable of getting into a 3-point stance in the fullback position and be involved in pass protection and the run game. When you have that guy and you have that type of flexibility, you've just added a new dimension in how you run the football, which now your opponents have to learn and understand the best ways to, counteract and defend a 2-back run game, as well as a 1-back run game, as well as a zone read run game with a quarterback.
Some fans maybe get nervous when they see Denzel Boston go back to return a punt, or to a lesser extent, probably Jonah returning kickoffs. Just curious your thought process on having your starting tailback and starting receiver return kicks.
If other people can beat them out, then they won't do it. We're going to play the best players at every position. And Denzel right now is our best punt returner. And so he's out there. And then when we have somebody else that can be as good or equal to him, then probably that guy will go out there more. And in the same way of kickoff returns. But right now, those are big, important plays. We got a lot of yardage on the kickoff return game this past week that really helped us. And those are things that we don't want to give up right now. And I just feel very strongly that we had Ed Reed as our punt returner when I was at Baltimore. We had Deion Sanders as our punt returner in 2006 at Baltimore. So I've been around teams that have played. Eddie Royal was our punt returner when I was at the Broncos, and we took Eddie in the 8th pick of the second round. And he had 90 catches on the season and set the all-time rookie record, but he was still our starting punt returner. So we'll keep mixing it up. We'll figure out, what's best for the team. And right now, what's best for the team is playing the best guys at every position.
What's Denzel over the top at punt returner?
The ability to track the ball is a huge, huge part of being a punt returner. The ability to get vertical fast and not too much wiggle. Just, hey, any yard is a good yard. And we always tell them, get a first down, meaning get a 10-yard return. And if you can get an offensive first down for us, then we have 10 less yards to deal with. So to do that, you really got to get physical. And then also be a good judge back there. Like, don't take unnecessary hits. don't know when to fair catch, know when the appropriate time is to just let the ball go, and have a good understanding of that makes you a real high quality punt returner.
Any chance of the surgically repaired guys or anybody that's been out coming back into the mix this week?
Javon practiced last night. I don't know if he'll be cleared for the game or not, but he practiced last night. Raheem and Deuce are out for the year, so we don't have to talk about them. And Shea is out for the year. So those three guys all had surgery. So I think Javon would be the only one. Armand was cleared to go. He was cleared to play. We just didn't get him in this past game, but he'll be cleared to go again. Other than that, I think we're good.
What's the deal with Lynch? Is he close at all?
Lynch is close. Yep, Lynch practiced last night. I think Lynch is probably this Saturday. If it's not this Saturday, it'll be 100% for the Apple Cup.
Soccer Pollard.
Who?
Soccer Pollard, Logan.
Oh, Logan's cleared for this Saturday.
All right.
Okay, thanks, guys.